Good evening, Habs Tonight Nation. I hope you all are doing well and enjoyed that tight shootout we saw in the game as well. Hope you're all doing well. And Marco, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Damon. The Habs with another win. Can't ask for more, right? And on the road too. We know they're playing tomorrow at home against Vancouver Canucks, but to get the win on the road against a team that beat them 3-0 last time, it's a good feeling. Plus, we have a lot of great points that we got to talk about. A lot of positives that we will surely get into now. I also want to take this quick moment to apologize from last time. It kind of sounded like I was recording our post game in the comfort of a cardboard box outside, like one of the homeless people. But today, I think sounds working. We fixed all the issues. Want to give you guys the best content possible, obviously. So my bad about that. But yeah, let's get it going with the show today. Any topic you want to start us off, Damon?
We really need to start off with this. I think we're all guilty of this. We need to apologize to Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman, I'm going to tell you guys this, and I'll be open about my feelings. I was hoping he would be got placed on a waiver instead of Rem Pitlick. Thankfully, Rem Pitlick cleared, and he can help out Laval. But I was
Yeah.
praying we would send that $4.5 million on waivers by Mike Hoffman. I don't know if you're listening. You're probably doing a post game media scrum right now, but I am truly and dearly
Yeah.
sorry for everything I've said about you so far this season and last season, and maybe a bit
Oh
before
yeah.
then. But I would like to take this moment to apologize, and I hope that you're doing well, and hopefully you can have more performances like this throughout the season, so you can increase your trade value and hopefully get us a nice, decent pick this trade deadline.
Let's hope. Yeah, I think everyone at the Habs tonight team owes Mike Hoffman a sincere apology. I know that I do. I can't even count on the tip of my fingers how many times this season we've been saying so many bad things about Hoffman. I think he's been listening to us this season, Damon. I think that's what finally got him going. He got his first multi-goal game with the Habs, which kind of in a way sums up how he's been playing with us since he's been with us. But at the end of the day, he contributed to the huge win tonight. So we definitely can't complain about that. So yes, thanks for Mike Hoffman. Another one standout for tonight's game, though. He inspired my background for tonight. Obviously, as you can see, the brick wall behind me. None other than Alan Price, as you had mentioned it there in your banner. Boom, there you go. Can we just talk about how lights out this guy was and how consistently good he is for the Habs? No, it seems like since he's been with us, no Carey Price, no problem. And we've been saying this for a long time, how much of a great number one goalie he could be, especially on kind of like lower potential teams. But I mean, you even see, I think he's for sure at least a number two on even a cup contending team. But obviously, he could be a starter on a lot of teams. I bet a lot of teams wish that he was their starter. I mean, luckily, he's our number one this season. And with performances like tonight, I mean, we really have no place to complain. What did you think of Allen's performance tonight, Damon?
I just want to go into the Habs changing room right now and see if he's wearing a mask right now and if it's really Carey Price under it. But he was. I can't even start. I don't know where to start with Allen. He was lights out. He's your background right now. I don't know how he transported from Detroit right to being your background right now. Brick wall kept every single thing out, except maybe that shootout goal from Nicoletti. But he was on fire. I don't understand how he did this, and he bailed out the defense so many different times tonight, and
Big
he
time.
just kept the puck out so nicely. I couldn't believe how great he was tonight. This was another level, and now I still want to go to Detroit and figure out if it's really Carey Price under Jake Allen's mask.
I mean, who knows? Like you said, he transported in the back right here behind me. So he's clearly a magician at this point, pure wizardry. But no, you had mentioned it, how many times he bailed out our defense tonight. And can we also talk about how undisciplined the Habs were tonight? I don't know how many penalties we got in that second period, but if it wasn't for Allen bailing out his defenseman and a lot of the penalties, which I mean, a lot of them were tripping calls, and we'll get to a kind of controversial one that happened at the end of the game, but for the most part, very avoidable penalties. And luckily, we had Allen on top of his game, who's ready to bail us out on every occasion tonight and help bring us for the win. Apart from Allen and Hoffman, who clearly had standout games, there's a couple that I had on my radar. Before I get into that, I want to hear your thoughts on who you thought stood out today, apart from the two clear candidates.
Honestly, today I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a busy day, and I ended up getting a lot done. Like I was working hard throughout the day, and I somehow fell asleep and missed the first period, so I had to watch it back on PVR for a bit. And
Oh no.
But here's the thing, from watching it back, I think the standouts were Brendan Gallagher and Christian Dvorak. Brendan
Mhm.
Gallagher was all over the ice, making plays, running his mouth, and even, of course, getting into it with the Red Wings a bit. And that's always nice when you have Brendan Gallagher's getting his nose into everything. I'd say he was
That's what he
probably a
does.
big standout. Yeah, and then Christian Dvorak, I'm pretty, and he's been having an interesting season this year, Christian Dvorak. So I also
Mhm.
really like Jaka. I think he's had some really good moments this game, but he's also had some unfortunate mistakes, like the second goal in the third period for that Lucas Raymond. He lost his assignment there. But Jaka,
Yeah.
I'd say, played pretty well. And Caden Gooley and David Savard, are they turning into Kill McCarr now? Because they're just walking out to the puck to the front of the net like it's their job. They're doing it really nicely this game. So I would say those guys are probably the standouts. Who do you think, Marco?
Yeah, I think you had some good, solid shots over there, and I like what you said about Kane Goulet and David Savard. We all know that Savard is more of a defensive defenseman, but we have seen glimpses, especially last season. This guy's got some dangles on him, some pretty underrated offensive skills, and when you need him to cut through a few guys and go one on one against the goalie, he'll be there. Obviously, we didn't see anything spectacular tonight from him offensively, but little signs here and there. He did get that 10-minute misconduct for, I guess, visibly chirping the refs. I'm sure it wasn't what he actually said. It was more the fact that he was clearly vocal about it and that the fans could see it. But from what I was hearing on the game stream, it was more of a young ref who was kind of taking that call. And I don't know, maybe he got his feelings hurt a little bit too hard. And I don't know. I still don't think it was warranted of a 10-minute misconduct. But luckily, the Habs got the win and didn't really, we didn't really have to pay for it. But regardless, I think that was a bit of a soft call on that Savard misconduct. But getting back to the standouts, I really thought Kirby Dach had a really outstanding game. He just so incredibly certain every time that he gets control of the puck, and the chemistry that he's developed with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, just chef's kiss. Honestly, it's such a great sight to see. We actually have, I know in previous shows that we did recently, we were also talking about this on the channel, but we actually have a solid first line for once in I don't know how many years, one that we could say that we could start every night consistently with confidence and that we know with, like probable odds that they will produce. So obviously Doc, one of the big standouts, he's been keeping up the great play this season, sorry. Really happy that we got this guy on the draft day. I remember still seeing that live outside the Bell Center. It was crazy, crazy scenes, but yeah, great
Yeah, I
to
just want
have
to
him
touch
on the
on
team now.
I just want to touch on
Go ahead.
Samurai Knight's comment right here. Goalie will win the Norris in his career, calling it now. I like this hot take. And the way he
Yeah.
played, he could definitely be on that trajectory. And thank you for commenting, spreading your Habs Samurai Knight.
Yes, sir. No, I mean, definitely, I guess a bit of a hot take now, but considering the upside that King Guli brings, especially since he's a big body, he's reliable defensively, but obviously he's also known for that offensive upside that he brings. It wouldn't surprise me if down the road, he gets more experience under his belt and he starts to develop more chemistry with his players and produces more. Hopefully the team will look a little bit better than it does currently. I could definitely see Gooley being a candidate later down the road in his future. Obviously, there's a bunch of great defensemen in the league, so he's definitely going to have some competition. But I like a little underrated take here on that. So yeah, thanks for the comment on that. We always appreciate it. Yeah, going back to the standouts, Kirby Dach, one of them, and like you said, I think Jack I also had a really good performance. I've been loving his play ever since he started with the Habs, and it's not only what he does on the ice when it comes to the actual game, but it's also what he brings to the physical, like the physical aspect of it. When you're on the ice, you always want that guy who will be there to step up for you no matter what, and it could be a complete momentum shift whenever you need it. And we know with Jack Guy, this guy not afraid to get up in somebody's face or absolutely pummel a guy if need be, get the whole entire stadium on his back and the whole entire mood shifted. I remember I was working one of the games at the Bell Center, and Jack Guy, when it was the fight against Cassian, where he absolutely humiliated him and his family on the ice, you could hear the roars in Bell Center is unlike anything I ever heard. So I'm just saying, this is what this guy could bring to the table. Why wouldn't you want him on the team? So obviously, he's shown that he could be reliable on the ice. Obviously, he's very young and he still has a lot to learn, but that'll come with time. But that stuff that happens off the puck, you can't teach it. That's just part of his character. And I, for one, am very happy that we have someone like that on our team. And I hope that he'll stay as part of the group for a long time. I'm sure the players will have the support on that too, because everyone wants to play with a guy like that. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, everyone would want to have a teammate like that. And also, I want to touch on Susie's comment here about Caulfield and Suzuki's. They're both their shoot goals in the shootout. I want to know what you thought of
Oof.
those goals because I was starstruck. I initially I thought Caulfield would score, but then Suzuki went in a bit and I didn't know. Okay, I thought, what does he have up his sleeve here? Fans already just put in the back of the net. He literally can teleport a puck in the back of the net. That's Suzuki's little superpower he has.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it was just a snipe from Caulfield on the shootout attempt, and Suzuki too. I mean, we all know when he did the little slow little approach in the game, and then the puck flip, the little Datsukian one bar down. I forgot who was against, but every goalie, I'm sure that was on the highlight reels everywhere,
Yeah,
and
that was
every
against
goalie
Connor
seen that.
Ingram.
Yes, thank you. No, so every goalie once seen that, they're like, oh shit, they're like shaking in their boots. So like, okay, well, like every time they come up against this guy in a one-on-one, what is he gonna do? They start to overthink things, and you can see Suzuki when he's going up for that shot. Like the goalie may say like, okay, is he gonna try it again? But he showed great patience on the shot, and he picked out the spot that was open, and he created that for himself too. Honestly, it really, really amazes me how well he's been in those shootout scenarios and those one-on-ones against the goalies. And it's really good to have someone reliable like that when you need it, because you never know when you'll get a penalty shot in the game and it completely determine whether or not you win or lose. Or when you go into a shootout, the Habs historically aren't the best in that sort of scenario. This is the first time they come against that this season, and luckily we're 1-0 when it comes to that. But yeah, no, having these guys, I'm not worried when it comes to our shootouts. You just got to get Drouin out of there, though. This guy has not proved himself whatsoever in the shootouts. I don't know why he's still part of that shootout lineup. I don't know what the organization sees in him, but anyways, it's not my decision. That's up to
Yeah,
Marty. But I'm hoping someone else will take his place and
yeah.
prove himself, because Drouin, he's gotten a lot of chances and he just hasn't shown it. So
I agree. Yeah, Druin, in my opinion, when it comes to a shootout, he's kind of like an eight ball. You don't know what you're gonna get from. Are you gonna get the Druin that'll get 3 goals or like 6 points in a night? Like just throwing six out there because like
yeah,
that's the raw skill he has. He could probably do it like back when he was with Tampa, but like nothing against Druin, but he's just been so inconsistent here. We just don't know what to expect of him each and every night. Like exactly like what are we gonna get? What are we gonna get out of him? Are we gonna get the one that gets a few points a night, or are we gonna get the one who takes up 20 minutes of ice time and doesn't really
yeah.
do much? But I've told the chat this, but I haven't. I mean, like our group chat, but I haven't told you guys in the are watching this. But I've literally had to pinch myself and try to remind myself who's number 27 on the Habs this year. Oh wait, Jonathan Drouin changed his number. I keep having to remind myself that he changed his number. Like that is like the unfortunate part with Drouin. I keep having to remind myself that he's changed his number, and then I like the guy a lot, but it's just been fortunate. But I don't see like the 110% effort that I'd like to be seeing from Jordan, and all other
Mhm.
guys have been showing it in my opinion. And that's what also bothers me about Rem Pitlick being placed on waivers, because I felt that he showed 100% out there whenever he was out there on the ice. But other guys such as Hoffman and Dadonov and Durant so far this season, I know those are I don't want to call, I mean, we're gonna call them the whipping boys essentially, but I think there is truth to it why the fans are upset with them. And the
Definitely.
reason why is because like those are players we know have the skill and capabilities and the tools to put up points every night, but they just haven't been doing it. But the other guys have been, and those guys have been relying on their talent alone, while guys such as Pitlick and those players have been relying on their hard work and using their talent at the same time is the best way I could describe it. But we can't avoid talking about this. I think we kind of have to. We have to talk about Slafkovsky and that hit on Mike Luff. I want to know what were your thoughts on it, Marco?
I mean, when I saw it live happening, I automatically said, "Oh boy, like this this does not look good for him." And I mean, I think everybody could agree that that was worthy of a 5-minute major and a misconduct for Slav. When you have the player up against the boards like that, especially in that position, and you could see him push him in head first. It's kind of like an unwritten rule. You know you're going to get yourself in trouble if you go anywhere near the guy there, or you try to follow through with that hit. And I mean, Slav, we all know this guy's like 19 years old. he still has a lot to learn when it comes to the game of hockey. And I'm sure the vets like Edmondson and Gallagher, they're going to talk to him after game and be like, listen, we know your intentions are good, but you can't be doing that in this league. So I'm sure, I hope at least that they'll talk a little bit of sense into him, because that could be a really dangerous play. And we saw it with Anderson against Pietrangelo last game. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, obviously, all the major penalties are reviewed, and we'll see whether or not he will get suspended. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this in the comments too, whether or not you guys thought it was warranted of a suspension. I wouldn't be surprised personally if you got a game, maybe two, considering Anderson's hit got him 2 games. But luckily, like all the other penalties this game, it didn't come around to bite us in the ass. So luckily, we were able to get away with the win. But hopefully, I think we all kind of hope that this is a learning point for Slav, and that this will come with maturity, that you just can't be doing this in the league, and that it's a dangerous play. And I'm sure he knows it too deep down, but when you get up in the moment, obviously you may not be thinking all that. You just want to put yourself out there for your team. And I definitely don't blame him, but in hindsight, looking back at it, it's a clear penalty, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got suspended. What did you think of the whole incident, Damon?
Yeah, the way I initially felt was I wasn't so I was as soon as I saw it, like I was in shock because I saw Luff go ahead first in the boards, and then I noticed, of course, like it was Slav because I was monitoring between this and Drew Deeks' game reaction. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I'd suggest going and watching it. Watch a Habs game with Drew Deeks, we can call it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this though about it, I was a little shocked in my opinion, like that Slav did that because in the way it was handled. Because I remember when the incident happened with Marco Rossi in the game against the Wild, like it was pretty similar, but Rossi's like 5'9" or 5'10". I don't remember his exact height, but he's pretty small. But
Not Slav
Slav,
height, yeah.
yeah, it's not Slav height. He's not a Slav squatch.
Not exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
He's a miniature skilled guy. That's what Rossi is. But I still think that was worthy of getting him a punishment. But to be honest, considering the Department of Player Safety, there's considering their track record, there's too many variables. But I think 1 or 2 game suspension might be reasonable for Slav. But I'll try to be positive. They might just say to him, like, we'll give you a warning or a fine since this is your first time. But future, if you do anything like that, it's going to be a suspension. So that's the way I approach it. And just wondering, since we're getting towards the end of our show, is there anything you want to talk about, Marco?
Apart from the fact that I thought that how funny it was that both the goals that were scored from Hoffman were like basically exact copycats of what happened. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was literally a rebound off the pad from Gallagher both times, and then a tap in for Mike Hoffman in the same side. I don't know when was the last time I've seen 2 identical goals back to back like that before, but I thought that was something that was quite funny. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, it seemed like that line was one of the standouts of the game too. That Gallagher, Hoffman, and the Dvorak line. And I think all the Habs fans could kind of hope that they kind of play like this a little bit more often. Sometimes you just need random shots in front of the net. You'll never know what kind of scrummy rebounds you'll get and what kind of goal scoring opportunities it could score. It comes back to the simple things of the game. So if we can have a sort of line that kind of just gets that kind of grit out there, I think it can kind of be beneficial for us for the rest of the season. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to say in terms of final thoughts. Did you have anything to say before we wrap things up?
Just one quick thing. The last time I can think of 2 copycat goals, Cole Caulfield's first NHL goal where Petrie fed him the puck across crease against Ottawa, then where Petrie fed him the puck cross crease in overtime against St. Louis it was, from Marty's first one. That is the last time I can think of a full-on copycat goal, but that was a really nice one. And I wanted to thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. We're at 15K, and we'd hopefully like to reach 16K in the next few months, hopefully. Don't forget to buy our merch. I'm going to hold on this iconic shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not wearing any right now, but yes, habstonight.net if you guys want to get your merch, support the channel. We do highly appreciate. Thank you guys again for tuning in to our post-game show with myself and Damon, the usual crew. We all hope you guys have a great rest of the evening, and go Habs go.
Cheers.